ask you about another group of people, the estimated 4 million families in America who have mixed immigration status. So I'm talking about parents who might be here illegally, but the kids are here legally. Your borders are.
You're talking about separation?
Yeah, well, I mean, there are two aspects to this. Your borders are, Tom Homan said, they can be deported together. Correct. Is that the plan?
Well, that way you keep well, I don't want to be breaking up families, so the only way you don't break up the family is you keep them together and you have to send them all back.
What's going on, guys? We got to talk about Donald Trump sitting down for an interview with NBC Fake News. Kristen Welker, to be exact, from NBC Fake News. Now, he hasn't done one of these in a while. He kind of was sending J.D. Vance out there to do a lot of these on his behalf with the fake news networks, whereas he was kind of doing more of the press conferences and things like that during his campaign run. Now, she wants to go on and on about the 2020 election, even though now we're in 2024 and we just had a 2024 election. She still wants to press him on the 2020 election. And Donald Trump makes her look really stupid here. I'm not going to tell you how he does it in case those, for those of you all who haven't seen it, maybe it'll be a bit of a surprise, but it's freaking hilarious. Without further ado, let's get into it.
Ask the president-elect about this extraordinary moment in time. He is taking office against the backdrop of a country that is so sharply divided, and when he has yet to concede the 2020 election,
nobody
which
cares.
He lost. Sir, I don't have to tell you this because you've talked about it. It comes at a time when the country is deeply divided. And now you're going to be leading this country for the next 4 years. For the sake of unifying this country, will you concede the 2020 election and turn the page on that chapter?
No. No. Why would I do that? But let me just...
First off, how is that going to unify the country? That makes absolutely no sense. That's a stupid question. But let me let Trump go ahead and murder, rhetorically, of course, this fake news anchor.
Why would I do that? But let me just tell you, when you say the country is deeply divided, I'm not the president. Joe Biden's the president.
But you're going to be the president.
No.
Boom.
I'm not the president. So when you say it's deeply divided, I agree. But Biden's the president, I'm not. And he has been a divider. And you know where he divided it more than anything else, and it probably backfired on him? I think definitely is weaponization. When he weaponized the Justice Department and he went after his political opponent, me. He went after his political opponent violently because he knew he couldn't beat him. And I think it really was a bad thing. And it really divided our country.
Sir, Democrats have control of the White House now. They didn't in 2020. If they are going around stealing elections, why
didn't they do it?
When you say
Democrats have control now?
Of the White House.
Yeah.
So why didn't they steal this election? Since they have more power
what a
now.
Stupid
because
question.
I think it was too big to rig.
Boom. Yo, hold on. Look, so there are several reasons for this. I don't know if Trump's going to get into them because I haven't watched this whole clip. So the thing is, the Democrats knew, the Republicans knew that the Democrats were stealing elections. They were doing underhanded stuff. So they kept continually filing lawsuits. I'm sure you guys hopefully have heard about how out in Pennsylvania they were counting illegal ballots.
Democratic officials in at least one key county, Bucks County, voted to count about 115 provisional ballots that are missing a signature, despite the Pennsylvania Supreme Court previously ruling that those are invalid. I want you to take a listen to how one Democratic Bucks County commissioner justified her actions.
I think we all know that precedent by a court doesn't matter anymore in this country, and people violate laws anytime they want. So for me, if I violate this law, it's because I want a court to pay attention to it.
So the Washington Post editorial board called that, quote, corrosive to democracy, unquote, and said, quote, county officials do not get to decide whether a legal requirement is material and must be followed. Courts do. And they have spoken clearly, unquote.
Last time when you tried to call this stuff out after the election, they said, well, no, it's too late for you to file these lawsuits. So you got to try to do some stuff either before or during the election, not after the election is over. So they wouldn't even let them properly litigate this stuff. So to say, well, why didn't they just do it again? Why didn't they just do it every time? It's because they'll get caught if they do it every time, fool. Let's keep going.
So you won't
Too big to rig.
To the people who say that you're now directing your Justice Department to investigate 2020,
no,
and they want to move
I have
on.
very capable.
Is that
I think
a
Pam
good
is going to
use
be
of
great.
precious resources?
By the way,
is that what you
just so
want them
know,
to do?
Just so you know, I have the right to do that, but I'm not interested in that.
Oh, you're not. You're not going to do that.
I'm not interested. I have
Okay.
the absolute right. I'm the chief law enforcement officer. You do know that. I'm the president. But I'm not interested in that. You know what I'm interested in? Drilling and getting prices down and stopping people from pouring into our border that come from prisons and mental institutions.
Boom.
One of the things that made this
Cooking
campaign.
her easily.
I want to ask you, sir, one final question. What do you want to say to Americans who didn't support you in this campaign?
I'm going to treat you every bit as well as I have treated the greatest MAGA supporters. There's never been anything like MAGA in the history of this country. These people are so dedicated to making America great again. It's very simple. And I'm going to treat them just the same as I treat MAGA. We're going to treat everybody good. We want success for our country. We want safety for our country. You know, our country is under threat, as you know. We have a tremendous threat militarily because of the power of weapons and weaponry. It's a tremendous threat. Nobody talks about it, but it's a tremendous threat. I want to treat everybody the same. I want to treat them well. And at the end of this 4 years, and I have a big head start because I was there for 4 years fairly recently. A lot of bad things were done during the 4 years that I wasn't there, and mostly in what they've done in terms of our reputation overseas.
Terrible.
Our reputation is so bad, so shot. I got to bring it back, and I also have to bring back civilization to our country. Our country is a crime pot. And we have to get rid of crime. We have so many things to do.
Pot.
We have to do the prices. We have to do all of that. But we have to get the criminals out of our country. We have to bring down crime. People have to be able to walk across the street and buy a loaf of bread without being shot. And that's going to happen. But what I say to them is, I love you, and we're going to all work together. And we're going to bring it together. And you know what's going to bring it together? Success. I saw that just prior to COVID coming in. I had polls that were the highest anyone. McLaughlin and Fabrizio said George Washington and Abraham Lincoln, if they came back from the dead and they ran as president and vice president, couldn't beat you, sir. We were doing so well. And I was getting along with the left. Let's call it the left. Would be nice. Okay, we're just going to call it. But I was getting along with people that you would consider liberal or progressive, as they like to say, at levels that I never thought was possible. And you know what it was? Success. Success was bringing the country together, and that's what I want to do.
Boom. It's really that simple. It doesn't matter what you try to throw at this guy. He's Teflon Don. Wake up, okay? It doesn't matter how many times you ask him about weaponizing the justice system against political opponents, whether or not he's going to spend time questioning the 2020 election, whether or not he's going to concede the 2020 election. It don't matter. First off, he could basically do whatever the hell he wants because that's just how it is. Okay, he got elected. Stay the hell out of his way or else. But that said, he made a promise that his primary focus was going to be making America great again. I believe him because he did what he was supposed to do in 2016. Why the hell would I not think that he's going to do what he's supposed to do in 2024? Not to mention, it's a pretty low bar considering that we got Sleepy Joe in office. I mean, who the hell couldn't do better than Sleepy Joe? At least in my lifetime, he's by far the worst president and also had the worst vice president, wannabe black cosplaying black fake behind cackler in chief, casting the tie-breaking votes on the Inflation Increasing Act and the American Destruction / Rescue Plan, Kamala Cackler Harris. Hell, sloppy Christie probably could have did better than Sleepy Joe, and I wouldn't even want to vote for that freaking lardy lunatic. But this interview is actually pretty long, guys, so I'm not going to react to the whole thing or even attempt to get through a big chunk of it, at least not today. But if you want to see the full thing, you know where to find it. NBC Fake News' YouTube channel is where you can find the rest of it. It's possible that I'll react to certain clips of it or have it included in other videos in the future going forward. But these are my thoughts for now. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate y'all watching the Black Anomaly Rising channel. I'm out.
The press was unfair. Like, to me, the press was obviously unfair to me. The press, no president has ever gotten treated by the press like I was. And yet I got more votes than any Republican candidate in history. by far. It's not even close. So you say, what's that all about? The press has to straighten itself out because, honestly, it's lost all credibility. When that can happen, based on the press, I should have gotten no votes, none. And yet I got the highest number ever. And the reason is because I'm able to go on a show, even like yours, even though you're very hostile, I'm able to go on a show like yours. No, you are.
Well, hopefully you thought it was a fair interview. We covered a lot of policy ground.
It's
here
fair
today.
only in that you allowed me to say what I say. But, the answers, the questions are, pretty nasty. But look, because I've seen you interview other people like Biden. And
I've never interviewed President Biden.
when I say you, I'm talking metaphorically.
Okay.
I've seen George Stephanopoulos interview Biden, and he's a tough interviewer. It's the softest interview. I've seen CNN interview him. They give these soft, what's your favorite ice cream? It's a whole different deal. I don't understand why. You would think the press would like to see strong borders, great education, a powerful military, so we have a country left, and all these different things. And somehow they don't want to see that.